IBS. If you don't have it, you've at least heard of it. What you may not know, irritable bowel syndrome occurs in a few forms, C and D. The conditions differ physically, emotionally, and socially for patients. A new survey sheds some light on that. Dr. Andrea Shin is a gastroenterologist and assistant research professor in Indianapolis, and she joins us now. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. April is IBS Awareness Month.
And so a perfect time to be discussing this. And I want to start with the survey, IBS in America. What stood out to you?
So this survey was conducted by the American Gastroenterological Association, looking specifically at IBS, but also at the different types of IBS. So we looked at IBS-C, which is abdominal pain with constipation, or IBS-D, which is abdominal pain with diarrhea. And some of the important findings from the survey were that although there are similarities between the two groups in terms of the emotional, social consequences, there are some very unique experiences that individuals will report depending on whether or not they have IBS-C or IBS-D.
Are there any common...
One of the common findings.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to ask about some of the symptoms that might be shared between the two forms. Is that... I don't know, does that happen?
Right, so the common thing is that there's recurring abdominal pain in association with altered bowel patterns. And the difference comes from whether or not these bowel patterns are mainly constipation type of issues or if they're diarrhea. And that's how we separate IBS-C and IBS-D. And we find that regardless, IBS sufferers report that their symptoms, because of their pain and their altered bowel habits, they have a big impact on their work productivity. So on average, we found that sufferers reported that 9 days out of a month, their symptoms interfered with their productivity at work or school, and also caused them to miss work or school on average 2 days a month.
Wow.
And then depending on the type of IBS they had, whether it was IBS-D or IBS-C, there were very unique emotional experiences.
You have 3 recommendations for IBS patients, things they can be doing to sort of help their doctors manage their symptoms better. What are those 3 things?
So the 3 things that people need to remember are 1, speak up early, 2, speak up completely, and 3, speak up often. What we find is that people tend to suffer on their own. They might try to self-manage. This can lead to frustration, dissatisfaction, in some cases even depression. And what we want people to feel is that they can be empowered to talk to their physician, whether it's a primary care doctor or a gastroenterologist, because remember, there are different types of IBS. There are social and emotional consequences. Your physician wants to help you manage your symptoms, and people find that once they seek help, they experience increased levels of satisfaction. So there is hope, and what we don't want is people to suffer in silence.
Yeah, I feel like some people might be just even too embarrassed to start the conversation with their doctor, so maybe they'd be more comfortable starting with just a search online, kind of learning more information and getting their head around it. Is there a website where you would send our viewers if they'd like to learn more about IBS?
Yes, what I would encourage anyone who wants to learn more about IBS or the full details of our survey is to go to the website ibsinamerica.gastro.org. And remember, your physician wants to hear about these things, so when you feel empowered that even though it's an uncomfortable topic, we want to encourage people to talk to your doctor.
It sounds worthwhile. Dr. Shin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Mike, over to you.